Joining us now to further discuss USC's hire of Clay Helton are Paolo Uggetti and Keely Orr. Thanks for joining us, guys. Let's get right into it. Keely, did USC make the right hire with Clay Helton?
I think time will tell. I don't think we can necessarily tell whether it was the right hire yet. I do think the timing was bad. I think Haden should have waited until the bowl game, at least until the championship game. I think it's a little premature. What if USC doesn't play well against Stanford? Now are you upset with your hiring choice? I don't know. The timing to me was just odd. I don't think that was the right decision.
Is the upsetness more from Haden, or is it from the fan base in kind of the booster type sense?
I don't know. I mean, Helton acknowledged he's not a flashy name. I think a lot of the fans and boosters wanted a flashy name, especially because there's so many coaches that are available this season. But Helton does know the players. He does know USC. I don't know if USC would do well with another coaching change again, but that's just my opinion.
I think for me, besides the timing, is kind of the reasoning, because it's obviously we saw what happened to Ed Orgeron a few years ago, where USC he won out but didn't win the UCLA game, so he didn't win out. And then USC didn't hire him because of that. And now to see Clay Helton win that game, win the UCLA game, and get the job, it's like, how much weight are you putting on that one game, and is that the right thing to do?
But I thought it was interesting yesterday. Haden specifically said, he was asked about the Orgeron situation. He specifically said that the Coach O situation a couple of years ago had absolutely no impact on the Helton decision.
Well, yes, that's part of kind of what you have to say. In my opinion, like I think personally that USC did not want that kind of that fracture between the players and the institution again. We saw how players reacted when USC did not hire Ed Orgeron, and there's still some animosity between that. Some former players who still think Ed Orgeron should have been hired. So I think USC did not want any part of that kind of confrontation. So when Helton won the UCLA game, they were like, let's go and do it.
And to go back to the timing issue, I think that if USC loses to Stanford, that's obviously troubling, and a lot of fans are going to be critical of the hire. But there is an out. You can fire a lot of the defensive staff, because if they lose, they're probably going to let up a lot of points to Stanford. So being able to get rid of some of the defensive staff gives them a little bit of an out there.
Well, it's interesting that Paolo brought up the player aspect, because a lot of players have been very adamant about their support for Helton so far during this entire process, the whole 7 games. And Justin Davis specifically after practice today talked about what Helton means to this team.
People outside really they might not know about him, but if they just met him, sat down 10 minutes with him, they would know that this is the right decision.
So guys, the players obviously support Helton, but with the timing here, we kind of talked about it earlier, but how much added pressure does it put on this game for not only just Helton, but the team in general?
I mean, we know that winning fixes everything. Obviously, the fact that he won the UCLA game was a big part of him getting the job. But now if he starts losing right away, people may want him to be the head coach, but if he doesn't win, if he doesn't start, and obviously we know next season we got Alabama at the first game of the season, so he's going to – USC took off the distraction of the Helton, of the impending coaching search, but then they put the pressure right back on him. So now he's going to have to go out and show – that he was the right guy for the job.
My favorite part of Helton's press conference yesterday was somebody brought up his next 3 games. It's going to be a Pac-12 championship potentially, a Rose Bowl, and facing Alabama. And his response was, how great is this? Like, just laughing about it. I think that's a great kind of, it shows his true colors.
I mean, that's what you want from your head coach. But, I mean, is Haden setting him up for failure? He has Stanford, potentially the Rose Bowl, and then Alabama. Is that what you want your
with a new quarterback?
With a new quarterback, is that what you want your
given all
new
the
head coach to
criticism
do?
that Haden has come under, he's not in his mind setting him up to fail. Like if he's setting him up to fail, then that means Haden's setting himself up to fail. Because if Helton backfires as a hire again, then a lot of the pressure is going to go right back on Haden.
It's not just the pressure. If Helton backfires as a hire, Haden's gone. I mean, that's just – there's no way after back-to-back hires with Sark and then Helton,
exactly.
It's pretty hard to keep.
A lot of people thought that he was not going to make this hire.
Exactly.
And it turns out he did. So we'll see where it goes from here.
With USC's trip to the championship game this weekend, we wanted to give you a brief history of the Pac-12 championship.